Hola, hola. Hello, Amanda. Thank you so much for being here. Buenos días. Buenos días a todos y a todas. I am very excited to be here with the George Washington School of Business and its representative, Amanda. Thank you so much for your time and for your support always to our students. I think it's very excited to be here and to listen to the programs that you offer and how to apply, etc., and of course the live in Washington. This session is going to be recorded, so if anyone knows anyone who wanted to be here but couldn't because of times, work, school, etc., please let them know that they can find this session on our YouTube channel in a couple of days. You can ask your questions on the chat, and you can also open your microphones in the end so you can ask Amanda everything that you need to know. So thank you so much again, Amanda. And yeah, the floor is yours. I think you can share your presentation if you have one.
Thank you so much, and thank you to everyone for joining me today to learn more about the GW School of Business and all of the programs we offer. I'm always happy to work with FUNED, with students from Mexico, one of my favorite places to visit, so I'm always happy to do this. I'll start with just a little bit of history about the university. The university was founded in 1821 when President Monroe signed an act of Congress, which created the college. So we are about 200 years old as a university. In the US, that's quite a long time. I know in Mexico, some places are a bit older than that, but here in the US, that's quite a long time. In the School of Business, we do have about 100 years of history. We were founded in 1928. So you're looking at 200 years as a university, or 100 years as a School of Business. Today, during our presentation, I want you guys to think about why GW School of Business. We like to say we are at the center of it all. There's a lot going on here, and I won't cover every single thing today, but what I want you to think about is what speaks to you and what drives you. Do you want to expand your network, expand your perspective, expand your knowledge base, expand your experience? You can definitely find that here at GW. Some attributes worth noting is that for research, we are now one of 71 elite institutions to join the Association of American Universities, or the AAU. The AAU is a prestigious invitation-only membership comprised of the leading higher education research institutions in the US. We are #1 for international business and have a global focus throughout every curriculum. There are over 200 course offerings just within the School of Business alone, not to mention thousands more at the university level. We, of course, have an emphasis on entrepreneurship, being in Washington, D.C. We have an office that provides programming around innovation, education, venture creation, and making connections to support GW entrepreneurs in the Mid-Atlantic startup community. They offer mentorship, maker spaces, and partners with a lot of internal and external offices. They also host a competition called the New Venture Competition, where 350 plus ventures have emerged through their programming, and over $1 billion, that's billion with a B, in follow-on funding has been raised by these companies. Something to note is that GW is on the top 25 list of universities in the US that have graduated the highest number of billion-dollar startups. So definitely an emphasis we have. And then lastly, no matter what you study, we very much believe in experiential learning here, and we have a practical application within every single program. Some of our programs offer capstones, while others can study abroad to further enrich their learning. Our School of Business has approximately 3,000 students, about 1,500 of which, or half of which, are graduate students. That means students looking for a master's or an MBA. As you can imagine, our location right here in the heart of Washington, D.C. naturally attracts a lot of international students. This last year, we had about 881 international students representing 102 different countries, including Mexico. Not only is our full-time MBA program recognized for having more than 50% women, our graduate programs as a whole also have over 50% women. So that's something that we're very focused on, is creating the boardroom of tomorrow. Regardless of which program you attend, you'll have full access to all of our great faculty members. The GWSB has over 110 full-time faculty members, most of whom are fully tenured or on tenure track. So their full-time job is GW and they do industry on the side. Whereas we also deploy dozens of brilliant adjunct professors who work full-time in the industry and then loan their expertise to GW part-time. and they have decades of practical on-the-ground experience in the fields they teach. For example, in my competition global economy class, my professor was actually working for the World Bank during the day, and then in the evenings was teaching my class. As far as faculty, we have a lot of really well-known faculty. They continue to be recognized for their research excellence, deepening knowledge, and informing policy. For their scholarly publications and other work, our faculty have been featured and cited frequently in the news media. They have received awards and invitations to serve in leadership roles for their respective academic organizations, including on the editorial boards for academic journals. On this page here is just a sample of professors who have been recognized for their research. As I mentioned, the School of Business does have over 110 full-time faculty members and dozens of adjuncts, so there's always new names coming up in the news. You'll hear us mentioned a lot on big radio programs like NPR when they're talking about big emerging topics within business and DC public policy, so you'll never not be with an expert in a field in any of your classes. As far as rankings, these are not everything, but it always helps to have good rankings. So you'll notice here the things we're most proud of is that we are #1 for percentage of women enrolled in the world. And we're also #1 for diversity in the world. So we're very committed to creating a diverse representative class that will help shape tomorrow's future business leaders. You can also notice here that we are #5 for value for money, or ROI, among all US private schools, and then #16 among all US schools. So your money goes a very long way when you come to GW. And you'll also notice that we have a couple of top-ranked programs like project management, international business, finance, and human resources. Now, with all that in mind, let's drill down on a few reasons why you should pursue your studies at GW specifically. #1 being we have diverse offerings for every interest. You'll see in just a few moments, but we have 14 specialized masters and an MBA that's available in 2 different formats for international students, but 5 different formats total. As I mentioned, we do have world-renowned leading edge faculty, many of whom develop the common practices and programs used in their fields. We do have a dedicated in-house career center that I'll speak about in just a moment, the Fowler Career Center. You can use them for the rest of your life when you're a GW alum. So not just when you're studying, but 20, 30 years from now, if you want to come back and do a career switch, make some connections, you can come and use their resources. Of course, we have a central Washington, DC location. The White House is about 4 blocks away. So we're very much in the middle of everything. The World Bank and the IMF are actually on our campus. We have connections with public policy, with government, with nonprofits, with private industry. So it's a great location to be. And then lastly, we do have partnerships in the region and around the world, and we're always expanding those. We do have over 21 partner organizations or partner universities, and we're working on expanding that list. As far as some program highlights and differentiators for our programs, inside the classroom, of course, we do have world-class faculty, as well as innovative curriculum. A lot of our programs do have an emphasis in international business, which as international students in Washington, DC would be very important for you guys. A lot of our programs also have a technology and analytics focus. As everyone knows, the future is digital, and so we like to make sure that our graduates are graduating with those skills they'll need to be the leaders of tomorrow. And then lastly, we do have experiential learning. As I mentioned in most of our programs, it is either a capstone project that you have, or you can do a study abroad, some type of final project to get you some hands-on experience. It's not just reading papers, but actually participating in your field as well. Something that's really cool as well about our programs is they're very flexible and very customizable. We have over 15 graduate certificates that I'll talk about in just a moment, where you can specialize in specific areas. As I mentioned, we have over 200 electives you can take as part of your program. So if your program has electives, you have over 200 courses to choose from. You can also take up to 6 credits or 2 classes outside of the School of Business at the university in large. So we have 14 different faculties. You can take some courses at the School of Engineering, at the Elliott School of International Affairs, which is what we're really well known for the Columbia College of Arts and Sciences, or the School of Engineering and Applied Sciences. So there's a lot of different options there. We do offer over 20 joint and dual degrees as well, for you to really make the most of your time in DC. If you're looking to do an MBA and a JD to practice law, you can do that. If you're looking to do an MBA and an international relations degree, you could do that with the Elliott School. So there's a lot of options. We, of course, do have short-term global and domestic study-late programs for that experiential learning. So you don't have to do an entire semester abroad. You can do 2 to 3 weeks here and there and still get that international experience. But if you do want to do a long-term study abroad, you can do that as well. We do have over 21 partner universities around the world. Outside of the classroom, so, as a student at GW, these are things you could take advantage of outside of class. As I mentioned, we do have a dedicated career center that can help you to make those connections and hopefully land employment quickly after graduation. We do have many affiliated industry clubs, events, and organizations, so lots of connections here in the DC area, as well as nationwide and international. We do have an extensive and involved alumni network. I can say this from firsthand experience. I've personally met and had dinner with students, our former GW students in Indonesia, in Colombia, in Mexico, so there's a lot of connections there. And then there are numerous opportunities for students to expand your network, perspective, and expertise. No matter what the degree, you'll get a new perspective on the field. As far as our specialized master's degree options, as I mentioned, we have 14 different options for you here. You can do a Master of Accountancy, a Master of Accounting Analytics, which is STEM designated, a Master of Applied Finance, a Master of Business Analytics, a Master of Finance. We have Human Resource Management, IST or Information System Technology, a really unique program called Interdisciplinary Business Studies, where you take 2 graduate certificates and combine them into a master's degree. Of course, we have International Business, a Management, MS in Management, which is kind of like a mini MBA almost. We have a Master's in Marketing, a Master in Project Management, a Master in Sport Management, and then a Master in Tourism, Hospitality, and Event Management. That was previously called the Master of Tourism Administration. You'll see here that many of them are STEM option available, which means here in the US as an F1 student, instead of having 1 year of OPT or work experience on your F1 visa after you graduate, you can have up to 3 years. So that's a great advantage for international students. A lot of them are looking for STEM designated programs, and we like to always make sure we can accommodate that when possible. As far as MBA programs, we do have 5 different formats, 2 of which you can do as an international student that are full-time programs, and they can both be STEM designated. So that would be the Global MBA, which is a full-time 2-year MBA. In general, students have 3 to 5 years of work experience. It is a 2-year program, so the first year you do all of your core curriculum, and the second year you do your specialization. And it is a cohorted program with a study abroad portion in your spring semester, where you do get real industry practice with international business. The accelerated MBA is still 2 years, but it's on a part-time schedule, so it's for individuals who maybe have a little bit more experience. And we have those courses held in the evenings, on Wednesday evenings and Saturdays. During the first year, you take all of your core curriculum cohorted, and then your second year, it is all of your electives and your specialization. You can also, of course, do the online MBA or the healthcare MBA from there in Mexico. Those would be online programs, though. You would not be able to get an F1 visa to participate in those programs. I do see we have a question here about English, so don't worry, I'll talk about in just a moment. I'll be sure to answer that for you, because I do know we want to make sure that you guys are being set up for success. As far as graduate certificates, these are your specializations. So we offer over 15. Some of them can even be completed online. So if you're looking to study there in Mexico and take programs online, you can take many of these online. And then we also offer over 20 joint and dual degrees. As I mentioned, we have almost any of our specialized masters in the School of Business you can do with an MBA. You can also do with a JD, which is the Juris Doctorate, what you need to practice law in the US. Or if you want to do an MA from the Elliott School of International Affairs in International Studies, you can do that. And the way this works is you take the core curriculum from one, the core curriculum for the other, and then you share the electives between the two. So it saves you a lot of time and money. For many of our programs are also available in different formats. Of course, as an F1 student, the United States government does say that you need to study mostly in person. You need to be signed up for at least 6 credits of in-person classes a semester. You can do up to 3 credits online. But all of our programs are available completely in person. Some of our programs are also available completely online. So if that's something you're interested in joining us here online. You can do that with MSIST, the Information Systems Technology, with the project management, human resource management, master in management, and then the Master of Interdisciplinary Business Studies. And then if you are a US citizen or permanent resident, you could also do many of our programs hybrid, meaning you can take some classes online, some classes in person, depending on your needs. As far as global and experiential learning options, I've mentioned this many times, but we do have many exciting study abroad opportunities. We have short-term faculty-led study abroad and away opportunities that are very popular. Short-term exchange programs of partner universities are also available. And these programs highlight the university's global focus and are available to all students. A very cool one that we recently had this last year that was very popular was we took students in the sport management program to the Paris Olympics, and they got to go be in Paris for 2 weeks behind the scenes and really see the inner workings of that giant sport management event that is the Olympics every 4 years. As I mentioned, we do have a dedicated career center that works exclusively with business school students. They have in-person and virtual coaching available. They offer many services you can see here on the slide. In addition, they also host events such as Career Week with career fairs both online and in person. And if you're interested in consulting, which I know many people are, they do offer something called Careers 360, which is a program for folks who want to do 1 to 2 pro bono consulting projects while studying. And the results of the work that the F. David Fowler Career Center does speak for itself. Our graduates go on to work at a multitude of prestigious firms and organizations, from multilaterals and federal agencies to the world's top technology and consulting firms. GWSB graduates leave their mark in nearly every industry in different ways. We've highlighted a few top employers of our alumni on this slide to illustrate the caliber of alumni network you'll be joining as a student here. While your personal and career journey will, of course, be your own and will be shaped by your own ambitions, these are demonstrative of what you can expect for life after a GWSB degree. And with 59,000 plus graduates, the GWSB Alumni Network is an extensive global group, in addition to the hundreds of thousands of additional GW University alums who will be part of your greater network. As we mentioned, we have 200 years as a university, 100 years as school business. You can imagine just how global our reach is. After graduation, wherever you travel, work, or decide to call home, there's a great chance you'll be able to connect with the GW alum. I know for a fact we do have alum in Mexico. I've met them, so definitely opportunities for you. It's of course not just in the classroom. We do have many organizations which are student-led and are also a great way to gain demonstrable leadership experience, as well as gain hands-on experience and interact with areas you're passionate about. The university has over 400 student organizations, and the School of Business has about 20 active organizations. Some worth noting are the CFEE, which is a hub for education and research. They organize our Pitch George competition, which is one of our premier entrepreneurial initiatives. You can think of it like Shark Tank, but all the sharks are nice. We do have the Investment Institute, which manages $6.5 million of US dollars for university endowment. That's real money. It's not monopoly money. Recently, an alum also donated $30,000 so that students can have access to FactSet, which is a program widely used by major investment banks. We, of course, have our Office of Innovation and Entrepreneurship, or the OIE, which I talked about earlier. They host our new venture competition. And then we do have something called Net Impact, which is a network of leaders who are committed to the ideals aligned with environmental sustainability and social responsibility. Other outside the classroom engagements are offered through the school signature series. Through these on-campus and online events, students have the opportunity to network, learn from recognized scholars and prominent business leaders. All of these events are, of course, open to the entire business school community. Now to get into you guys' questions about what's required to apply. Everyone, whether you're a US domestic student or an international student, must have a regionally accredited bachelor's degree. We can accept a 3-year bachelor's degree. That is fine, as long as it is equivalent to a US bachelor's degree. There is an online application form, and there's normally an $80 fee. However, to say thank you for joining me here this afternoon, I do want to go ahead and give you this code, which I will put here in the chat as well. Please make sure to copy this down now. I will not be sending this in an email after, so this is your only opportunity to get this. It's RCOGRI052. When you go to submit your application, what you'll do is you will go to the final page, which says review and pay, but instead of entering your card information, you will just select the option that says request application fee waiver and enter in this code. That's all you have to do. It's not an automatic discount code like with an e-commerce platform. So it might take us 1 to 2 business days to go ahead and approve that for you. But don't worry about it. We'll approve it in 1 to 2 business days, and you don't have to come back and submit your application. We'll submit it for you. So again, please make sure to copy that down. We do need a copy of your university level transcript. So anything after high school, unofficial is fine for application purposes. And usually universities in Mexico do not have an issue issuing those in English. So just make sure to ask your registrar to have an English copy of your transcripts. We do need a resume. Only our MBA has a work requirement. For a full-time MBA, we're looking for 3 to 5 years of work experience. None of our specialized masters require any work experience. You can come straight from undergrad. We just like to see any internships you've had, leadership opportunities, projects you've been a part of, things like that. It's also helpful to put any programming languages you know. If you speak any other languages, those are all things that we'll notice on your resume. We do require at least 1 letter of recommendation in English. It can be from a professor, it could be from an employer, it can be from a colleague. We don't have specific requirements. As long as they can speak to your contributions to a team effort would be best. And then lastly, there is a statement of purpose, a 500-ish, 2-page essay just explaining your goals and motivations, why you want to do the program, what your short and long-term goals are, and why you think GW is the best place for you to do that. And then lastly, something to note is that the GMAT and the GRE are 100% optional for the 2025-2026 academic year. So you don't need to request a waiver. If you don't submit GMAT or GRE, we just push your application through without that. That being said, if you are taking GMAT or GRE or another institution's application process and you score well, please submit your scores. They can only help. For you guys, and I know we had a question about this in the chat, if you're joining us as an international student, that means a student on an F1 visa, you would need to have some additional requirements, including an English language score. We accept the TOEFL, the IELTS, the Pearson Test of English Academic, and the Duolingo. We're looking for about a C1 level. So 100 on the internet-based TOEFL or a 550 on the paper-based. A 7 overall on the IELTS with no individual band score below 6. A Pearson Test of English Academic of 68. Or a Duolingo English test, not the app, the online test, of 125 with no individual band score below 110. These are the ideal scores. So if you take it and you're just a little bit below that, maybe you're like a 90 on the TOEFL or a 6 on the IELTS, we can still admit you. We would just have you take 1 additional course called English for Academic Purposes, or EAP, to help you with your written academic English. If you've studied in the US or another English-speaking country, you do not need to submit an English language score. We'll waive that for you automatically. We would also require something called a transcript evaluation. So this is different than just an English copy of your transcripts. This is because here in the US, our grading scale is out of 4.0. I believe in Mexico, it's out of 10, if I'm not mistaken. Every country is a little bit different. So we do need to see your degree and your transcripts as if they were on a US system. So what courses you took, the grades you earned, the degree you earned, and your overall GPA on the US system. This is done through something called a transcript evaluation. So you have 2 options for this. You can either do an external transcript evaluation through a NACES accredited member. That's the National Association of Credential Evaluation Services. So these are companies like WES, SpanChan, IEE, JNA. There's a lot of different options. These are at cost, however. Traditionally, they're going to be $200 to $300 with an expedited processing time of 2 to 3 weeks. For in-house transcript evaluations, we do have those available at no cost. However, the processing time is going to be more like 3 to 4 months. So just please keep in mind which you would prefer when you're applying. If you know you need an in-house transcript evaluation, make sure to do that earlier rather than later. And then in addition to working with FUNED, we always also recommend for our students to work with EdUSA, Education USA. They do have an office there in Mexico City, as well as in many other cities within Mexico. They're going to be a great free resource for tips for the US study and visa process. So we do recommend reaching out. As far as funding, I know this is something on everyone's mind, especially since you're coming here through FUNED, you're looking for scholarship opportunities, and we completely understand. For our master's programs, these are going to be around $2,055 per credit hour. That means for a full-time master's degree, you're looking for a total tuition cost of roughly $62,000 to $75,000 US dollars in total. For our MBA programs, those are priced just a little bit differently. For the full-time 2-year global MBA with the study abroad portion, that's going to be a total cost, a total tuition cost for the 2 years of roughly $130,000 US dollars. And for our other MBAs, so the accelerated MBA, that's going to be around $118,000 US dollars for the entire program. We, of course, have scholarships. These are merit-based and decided upon admission to the program. There's no separate application required, no specific requirements. As long as you're a good student, we can offer these. And we do have an agreement with FUNED. If you apply through them or mention that you will be receiving FUNED through your application process, we can offer additional award. If you're a U.S. citizen or permanent resident, you can, of course, apply through the FAFSA, the Free Application for Federal Student Aid, and they offer Stafford loans as well as Graduate Plus loans. And then something to note here is that here at GW, we do not offer assistantships as part of the aid package. So this is something you can apply for separately once you arrive to campus, and they're compensated on an hourly basis. It's not a tuition remission. As far as application dates and deadlines, our next application deadline for fall 2025 is going to be March 1st. So a little bit less than 2 weeks here. But if that's a little too soon, that's completely fine. We understand. We will have rolling admissions after that point, and we'll continue to accept applications through the spring for international students coming in the fall. So with all of this in mind, let's take a step back and breathe for a moment. While a business master's program is a lot of work, and there's been a lot of information presented to you here, in just a few short years, you'll be here with us on the National Mall, tossing your hat in the air on graduation day. We are the only university in the US and therefore the world that has the honor and privilege of holding their all-university commencement on the National Mall in front of the White House, right next there to the Washington Monument. Where you go is up to you, but we'll help you get there and open up a wealth of resources to assist you in your journey. For now, we're looking forward to helping you through the applications and admissions processes. Thank you so much for attending. And if you have any questions at this point, anything that you want me to go back over, anything I didn't cover, I'm more than happy to answer those at this time.
Thank you, Amanda. Thank you so much for the presentation. The question in the chat wasn't a question, it was a comment from me. I was just remembering that we
Sorry.
No worries. I was just telling people that we have, we work with Pearson PTE, and they give 20% discount to FUNED referred students for their test. And I did ask if you guys had needed it before
Okay, yeah.
for the session. So I was just telling people what the discount code is.
Perfect. I just saw Pearson Test of English, and I was like, okay, English requirements, I'll cover that.
No worries, no worries.
So yes,
Thank
we
you
do
so much.
accept Pearson. We want a 68 on that.
Thank you so much. ¿Algunas preguntas? Any questions? No one, nadie, no sean tímidos. Don't be shy.
Yes.
Ah.
Thank you very much. Hi, Edgar here. I just have one question. If we were to study, do you guys have programs that are fully done online?
Yes.
Meaning from the application process to the, classes and graduation process?
Yes, so we do have quite a few programs that can be done completely online, depending on your goals. Our online MBA can be done completely online. You can also do our information systems technology program, our project management program, our human resource management program, or our master's in management, as well as our master of interdisciplinary business studies, as long as both certificates chosen are online.
Okay. And last question is, I do have a U.S. Diploma from high school. I graduated high school in the state of Utah. And I do have a bachelor's degree from my home country, which is Mexico. If I combine the two, I do not need a English test, do I?
In general, we like to make sure that you have an undergraduate, so a bachelor's degree from a US institution. That's kind of a unique circumstance. So in that case, what I would recommend is to reach out to us at business@gw.edu and see if because you graduated here in the US, we would be able to waive that. But I am not sure. That's not a situation we encounter often, so I don't want to give you a wrong answer.
I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
¿Alguien más? Anyone else? Any questions? Okay. So I guess that was very clear, Amanda. Thank you so much.
Of course, yeah. And
Thank you so
just
much for your time.
of course, and I just want to remind everyone to just copy down that code that's there in the chat for the application fee waiver. That will save you $80 on the application. We'll also know that you're coming through FUNED, so that will help us with the scholarshiping down the line as well.
Perfect. It's great to hear about the fee waiver, because then sometimes those start to pile up and then you owe a lot in application fees. So it's a great way to help out. Thank you so much.
Exactly. Yeah, we want to make sure it's as accessible as possible.
Thank you so much. Well, thank you so much for your time. Muchas gracias a todos los que se conectaron. Remember, this was recorded, so you can look at it later on. And Amanda was kind enough to leave her email there. So if anyone has any follow-up questions, you can certainly reach out to her. And yeah, hope to see everyone's application soon.
Bye.
Bye, gracias.